Hey everybody, welcome back to Inspired Dishes. Today I will be making an imitation oxtail dinner. Now I know some people might, hold up, wait a minute. Now I heard of imitation crab meat, but I never heard of no imitation oxtail. I'm gonna get to that in a minute. Usually people use oxtail. I actually see pretty much they were saying like how oxtail is expensive. It's pretty much they call it the ghetto version of oxtail, and I think they use turkey necks. I always use I usually use turkey necks. I use smoked turkey necks though. I never use fresh. These are the fresh kind. I'm like, wow, I think these kind of like look more like oxtail. That's why I call it imitation, because it ain't real oxtail, y'all. But I'm gonna be using this, and it's cheaper. And look at the price. Yes. Now for all of this, if it was oxtail, you probably would have paid close to $20. Well, probably not 20, but over $10 probably for all of this. Make sure it's fresh. I'm walking here with no smoked neck bones, thinking that you follow my recipe, because that's somebody's recipe, but it ain't mine. If you see my taco Mexican pizza, I use salsa. I had salsa left over. I use salsa as well. I will be using the rest of my salsa. Also too, in the comment section, I don't want to hear people say, that's not the real Jamaican oxtail. First of all, if you see it by the title, it's not authentic oxtail. Let me do what I do. It's still gonna be good. Last time I made it, it was a little salty and everything. So yeah, I got a little brown sugar. Also too, to brown it. If you've seen that oxtail salad, I use a little bit of brown sugar to brown it. If you have brownings, the sauce, then you can pretty much skip this step, unless you want to make yours a little bit, and it's not going to make it sweet at all. It's just going to balance off that saltiness. Too, I will be using a little bit of garlic paste. If you have regular garlic, you can use that. And the minced garlic, I don't too much like the minced garlic, the one that's already in a can. You can use it, but I don't too much like that. I will be using salt just for the rice. I got coconut milk, y'all. This is actually going to be for my rice as well. Usually people use white rice when they make their rice and peas. However, I'm going to be using all rice. The light red, if you get dark red, it's okay, but get the kidney beans. And my imitation oxtail, I'm going to be using, some people use the Scotch bonnet pepper. I don't got all that. I'm going to use a little bit of red pepper flakes. And yeah, I used this last time for my oxtail salad, and it was good still. Just a little spice for this. Just a little spice. Packet of soy sauce. I'm just going to use one packet. If you have the regular bottle, you can go ahead and use that. Not going to go to waste now. The video I did, I think it was with the pasta. This beef packet, I took this out and I used my chicken powder. So I still have this beef packet, so I'm going to be using this to season my meat. If you have something else like beef seasoning or something, use that. Now you don't got to go to a stove and buy a packet of ramen noodles just to have the beef pack. Just use something close to this. We'll be using a little bit of salted butter. So for my cabbage, I don't want to get ahead of cabbage and be cutting it. That's one thing I can't stand. It's to be prepping up vegetables, like cutting and stuff. Like, if I can buy it already cut for me, that's great. But if you get it like whole size, it's cheaper. So that's why I mostly get it sometimes to save money. But other times it's like, ain't nobody got time for that. I pretty much got the coleslaw mix. That's pretty much actually what the cabbage is. Coleslaw mix. That's what I will be using. I don't have it on camera, but in my cabbage I put bacon. But however, since this is I'm not trying to do bacon this time, but I will be using a little bit of bacon grease to saute up my cabbage. And I will be using some of my chicken powder, as well as some onions that I have diced up. I can't forget this. Okay. We're gonna settle this once and for all. I'm about to call them real quick.
Thank you for calling. For English, press 1.
Thank you for calling Breakfast Food.
How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. How about yourself?
Yeah, I'm doing good too. Thank you. I know it sounds kind of crazy, but I just wanted to know, how do you pronounce this? It's the Worcester. I really don't know how to say it. I just wanted to call the company to get the right pronunciation of the word.
Of the Worcestershire sauce?
Okay, Worcestershire?
Yes.
Okay.
In Old England, it was known as Worcestershire. You can call it either one. Worcestershire is the proper pronunciation.
Worcestershire. Okay, because so many people don't know how to pronounce it, including me. Worcestershire is the right pronunciation, though?
Is the correct pronunciation. That's correct.
Okay, thank you so much. That's all I wanted to ask. I guess that settles it. You know how to pronounce it now. I told you I was gonna get to the bottom of it. Now that settles that. I have those washed off, and I soaked it in water, apple cider vinegar, and I poured it off and rinsed it off. So make sure you clean your meat. Season it with this packet of soy sauce. I'm just gonna pour it on there. Like I said, if you just have the bottle, you can just pour like at least a teaspoon and a half. I have my beef packet. I'm gonna pour on there. I'm gonna use a little bit of our chicken powder. I used a little bit of my salad, Oxtail salad at the time, and it was pretty good. A little bit of the brown sugar, not all of this, but just a little bit. It's a little clumped up, so like a teaspoon. Now a little bit of that garlic, it's like a tablespoon. Put all of the tomato sauce. Well, this is sauce really. Stuck in there. Yeah, we gonna use the Worcestershire. What's it say? I know a lot of people are gonna get it wrong. Probably even me again. They don't just told me, but yeah, I'm just gonna pour a little bit of my Worcestershire sauce inside the bottle as well. Just gonna put the lid back on it and shake it up so it can like get this, the sauce off the thing too. If you can see, yeah, I put some of the sauce in there, Worcestershire sauce in there, and shake it up. Probably like what? Like 2/3 cup. Pretty much about it. So we're gonna massage it, and then I'm gonna add in my onions, and not all of the onions, just some of them. Just massage it with your hands. You know, if you feeding it for somebody else, you know, wear gloves. I'm not doing that. It's for me. So it's the pepper flakes. Just put you some in there. It depends on how spicy you like it. I don't want it too spicy. I let this marinate overnight. Okay, now that meat has been marinating, not overnight, but I'm gonna say 2 nights because yeah, I was supposed to cook it the next day, but I didn't. All you have to do is marinate yours overnight. Now, what you see right here, I'm gonna be browning it with brown sugar. If you have browning, you can skip this step. I don't have browning, so it's another way to brown it. So I have a little bit of vegetable oil in a pan. I have it on medium heat, and I'm pretty much going to mix in that brown sugar to break it down. It's in a little clumps. Okay, so now I'm gonna take my meat that's been marinating 2 nights in a row. Take it out and drip off the excess juice, and you just want to sear it. It only takes about a few seconds to sear it on each side. So that's pretty much what I'm gonna do right now. Okay, see how crusty, how good it look, y'all, how dark it's getting. So that's good. And just like I said, you just want to caramelize both sides. Okay, now I don't took it off and set it to the side. So you see this pot right here? That's what it's pretty much was marinating. So I'm just gonna put the meat back inside of that pot. I'm gonna fill the pot up with water, but before I do, where I had the meat at, I put some water in that to pretty much take off all that. Yeah, I want all them juice and the drippings and everything. So yeah, I pretty much put the water on there, and then I'm gonna add the pot with more water, and pretty much you want it to fill over the not oxtail, but you know what I mean. Well, oxtail, imitation oxtail. Okay, so now it's covered up, and I have that on medium height. If I didn't mention that before. Now in this pot, I'm gonna make my rice. Now I'll also have that on medium high, and I'm gonna add in my butter. That's probably like a teaspoon. It really don't, just put a little bit butter in there, and then I'm gonna be adding in my salt. Now I'm gonna be adding in my rice, and I'm gonna whisk that in. It's something about a whisk, like when you're stirring up like grits, rice, even mashed potatoes, stuff like that. It works better. So yeah, I'm just gonna whisk that rice in there. There's no exact measurement, but just put you a little bit less rice than it is water. Now I'm about to add in my can of pink kidney beans. Not all of it, but majority of it, like half of it. And I'm gonna also empty in the juices inside of it as well, the liquid inside of it as well. Okay, so now I'm gonna add in my Baileys, and I got a small one. Well, a small one, so I use 2 of them. But if yours is kind of big, you can just use one. And I'm just gonna put that in there as well. I also will be using a little bit of dried thyme. About a pinch should be good. Okay, now you see how majority of the water has pretty much drained out. So now we're gonna add in our coconut milk. You see how it looks so good, y'all. But yeah, we're gonna add in a little bit of our coconut milk. I don't have an exact measurement, but probably like 1/3 cup should be good. And you just want to put that in there and mix it as well. Now I realized after this rice get boiled, the bay leaves got to be fished out of there. So it was already kind of hard trying to find it right here at this state. So yeah, I'll take it out even before the rice got done. It let off the fragrance and everything it need to do before hit a time. So yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna let the rice cook continue to finish cooking. Now back to these oxtail, imitation oxtails. Now, yeah, you see how much water done pretty much came. I just want to fill that back up. That's actually been about an hour and a half. Last time when I made I think the oxtail salad, I had to put water in at least 4 times because that water kept coming out quickly. Maybe because I had to stove up a little bit higher. So now we're gonna add in our one bay leaf since it's a little bit bigger, and we're just pretty much going to let the rest of it cook all the way down. Okay, now the rice is definitely done now. You see how good it look, y'all? Like, you can't tell me it's ain't regular rice and peas. It looks so good. So, yeah, I just got a fork in order to flake it. Now we're back to the meat. It's been like a total of like 2.5 hours, or like an hour since I added in more water. So I fished out this bay leaf. I'm just going to discard that. So you see how the majority of the water is out of there. And now I'm going to add in my beans. If you don't want beans in yours, you know, you can skip this step. I seen with the ghetto version, imitation, they use, I think, carrots and potatoes. Now the reason why I don't want to use it because in my regular Jamaican dish, when I get it from a Jamaican restaurant, it don't have that in it. And also too, that reminds me more of beef stew. If you're from the American culture, we pretty much put potatoes and carrots in our beef stew. So that's what it reminded me of. So that's why I didn't want to put that in my fake oxtail. So just the beans should suffice. And we're just going to let that, so it's like close to down, not all the way down, but majority of down. And it's still on medium-high heat. I'm going to make my cabbage. I have it on medium. I got my onions. I should have sliced them up a little thinner, but you know, that's a good. And here, this is my bacon fat. And I'm going to use this to pretty much saute up my cabbage. Now, usually I will caramelize the onions. However, I'm just going to steam it up with my cabbage. Okay, you know what, this cabbage mix, it got purple cabbage. I'm pretty much going to try to take that out if I can. See, like this big one, I'm going to take that out. And you want to also season as well. Now, usually I would just use bland salt. However, I'm going to season with my chicken powder. I would have seasoned my rice with chicken powder, but I wanted it to, you know, have more of that vibe, so I just seasoned it with salt. But with my cabbage, yeah, I'm going to season a little bit of this chicken powder. And it's going to cook with the onions and everything. And finally, as this is pretty much how the fake oxtail look. When I say this looks so good, y'all. See how the far don't reduce down? How you want it to look like it's like gravy. With my cabbage, yeah, just saute good enough. I'm about to turn it off now. Still like a little crunch in there. I don't too much like my cabbage crunchy, really. Oh my goodness, when I say this looks so good, it's like the regular thing. Like, if I didn't know this was neck bones, I would think this was oxtail. Yes, man. Order up. Come get your oxtail, your rice and peas, and your cabbage. Let me know how my Jamaican skills was, y'all. My Jamaican accent. Come get your oxtail and rice and peas and your cabbage, steamed cabbage. Okay, you saw me prepare it now. I'm about to eat it. When I say this like a real oxtail dinner, even from restaurant, because I'm going to try the rice. I taste a teensy bit of like the rice that was on the spoon. I didn't really want to, you know, come and wait to the grand finale. But yeah, I'm going to taste it, you know, the rice and peas. My recipes are pretty good. I salted just right. I forgot what video it was, but it's been a while. I talked about rice and peas. So when I order oxtail, I usually get just white rice because I love white rice. I get rice and peas every once in a blue moon. It's not bad, but it's just like bland to me. It's like, okay, why not just get white rice then? I don't know. This recipe is actually salted good. Even though it's like a more healthier version, you can't tell that I made this with wild rice. If you want to be a little healthier version, because regular rice got a lot of starch in it, use this wild rice. And beans also a little salted, got like a little, not much, but just a little bit. But as like I said, I usually season my rice with like seasoning. But I just want to only just use salt. It's good, y'all. I'm going to try this cabbage. I know some people like a little crunch to theirs if you want to make yours like that. It don't take long at all to cook, but me, I don't too much like, mine some crunchy. Oh my goodness. You could have just seasoned yours with salt and I could have just did it. I'm pretty sure it would have been good too, but I did want to use the chicken powder inside of mine. Also too, I can taste a little bit of that bacon fat. It's good, y'all. Alright, let me try the neck bone / aka oxtail. I think that was a butter bean. Because the butter bean by being in the meat, with cooking, it turned that color. So yeah, that was a butter bean. Sweet and really got bones in it. When I say this is seasoned up, just like a regular oxtail, when I get oxtail dinners, they all have the distinct taste. However, you still can tell like it's that Caribbean / oxtail vibe. With this, you get that. With the meat, it's so tender, it's so good, and it's seasoned just like oxtail. I'm not being biased because I made it. If it wasn't good, I'm gonna let you know. But when I say this oxtail is just so, oh my goodness. And beans, I know when I was growing up, we didn't really use like spices as far as, we did use spices, but we didn't use like as far as like bay leaves and the thyme and rosemary. We didn't use stuff like that. So I don't know like about a lot of the spices for dishes. However, it do add like a little nice taste, but I didn't really miss it because the food was good back then. My mama cooked good, my grandma cooked good, you feel me? I cook good, so like we really ain't even need all that. But now since I'm like, try more dishes, I'm cooking more different dishes and different things like that, it's like why not try different things to see if it will elevate it or to see if you will like it or dislike it. I want to go all out as far as making some plantain. I just say have no bananas. Usually I do, but I didn't have bananas. And also too, when I go to a Jamaican restaurant, not all the time, but I used to get cornbread. I know you make like dumplings. I don't too much like dumplings, but I used to get like cornbread. I started making some, but I was like, nah, I didn't want to make all that. I got time for just making this. Now, who I will give props to, she haven't been on her channel for a while, but Busy Lou, when I so talented, all her food is from scratch. Not just homemade from scratch. I mean like make fresh bread from scratch, making noodles from scratch, probably even make rice, the little rice grains from scratch. When I say she's so talented, I think she made a Jamaican feast one time. I forgot what all she included, but I'm like, girl, hats off to you because you made all of that. Like me, I'm not finna do that. You feel me? Had time or not, I'm not finna do all that, but she will do that, and I love her channel. Like, hopefully she come back on her channel again. God bless her. But yeah, try this recipe, y'all. And it was so cheap. Like, I had a taste for oxtail, but after I see his channel, it said that you could like do like a different, cheaper version. I said, why not try it? And this ain't failed me, y'all. This is not failed me. This came through. Make sure you try this recipe. Make sure you like, make sure you share, and make sure you subscribe to my channel, y'all. Y'all have a blessed day.